Hello. Okay, I pushed my camera way back because I feel like whoa. Um, I am Miss Erin, and it's nice to be here with you today on Tuesday. Thank you very much for joining us from your homes. I work at the Mount Airy Library, but since we're closed, I'm reporting to you live from my own kitchen. And today we are going to talk about some books for middle grade students. So today the books that we're going to talk about range from grades 2 all the way up through grade even like 7. But most of them are that middle to late elementary school age. So today I thought I would talk about one of my favorite genres of all time, and that is the graphic novel. I remember when I first started working in libraries that they were kind of not controversial, but they were kind of like strange and new. And were they books? Aren't they just comics? Who knows? But since then, and that was like 12 or so years ago, I'm really glad that they have really grown and grown in terms of acceptance by a larger audience, such as yourselves and our library patrons, but also by creators and collaborators and, yes, comic cartoonists, but also novelists. And they've really become a very robust, very, I think, awesome genre. They're great for everyone, but they're particularly great, I find, for reluctant readers. So if your kiddo is just like not into books right now, which they're not alone. I honestly was not a huge reader in grade school. Not until maybe late high school did I start to really, really get into reading. I read here and there, but I just wasn't super into it. So I get it. Graphic novels might be your way in. So they might be your gateway book, for lack of a better term. So today I'm going to talk to you just about a few books, and all of them are available on our digital collections using two formats, which is Hoopla and Overdrive / Libby. So any of those 3 apps really, although Overdrive and Libby share the same collection. So if I mention it's for Overdrive and Libby, then you can download it from either of those apps. I thought I would just go in alphabetical order. Today, I wanted to start with Rutabaga. Rutabaga is an adventure chef, and he is very, very cute. This is by Erin Colossal, and Erin Colossal is a cartoonist, and he's been around for a while, and this is a series, so he's made a few of these. I don't think I've met a kid who has read this book who didn't absolutely love it. I remember my own niece. She would not stop talking about this book to me. And I was like, I know, I've read it. It's so good. So this is Rutabaga the Adventure Chef. And if you can tell by the cover, do you think that happens in kind of the world as we know it? Nope. It's pretty fantasy. It's totally fantasy. If you ever gone to the Renaissance Festival, this is kind of right up that alley there. Let me show you a picture, a closer up picture of Rutabaga. Here he is right in our middle panel. It says he's 5 feet tall, so that's pretty short. I'm 5'5", so that's like a half a foot smaller than me. Yay! Denise says, my grandson loved this book. See, that's awesome. Great taste. That's what I'm telling you. Kids just dig this up. He says, big head for easy target. So he's kind of got a Charlie Brown head. It has muscles, ? So maybe he's a little, not wimpy, but, a little noodly, I guess. And, stumpy legs. So in a world that's kind of made for warriors and knights and princes and princesses and great big ogres, Rutabaga kind of has the odds stacked against him, but thank goodness that he is an adventure chef. The thing I liked about this book is that a lot of it almost feels like you're reading a shot-by-shot video game. So if your kiddo likes video games, like adventure video games like Mario, this might be a really great read for them. For instance, the blocking of the paneling kind of feels like it scrolls across the page like a video game, but also it's got these really wacky recipes in here. So like almost like you're collecting items from around a world, putting them together, and oh, you've made a forager's bundle in cream sauce. Some of these things sound really, really gross. Some of them actually don't sound too bad. So this is Rutabaga, and I did want to have him sort of just tell you what he's about really quickly before we leave him to his adventure. This says, having grown bored of the standard food offerings available in towns and inns, I now travel the land for strange and magical ingredients to add to my cookbook. So if your kid loves fantasy, obviously if your kid loves adventure, he's the adventure chef. If your kid loves cooking, this is a really, really great book. And this is School Library Journal has this listed as for grades 2 to 4. I would say even a little bit older than that would be super into it. It's really, really fun. Okay, that is Rutabaga, The Adventure Chef by Eric Colossal. Oh, and that is available right away on Hoopla. Oh, and I did want to announce your Hoopla, if you have a library card and you're using Hoopla, our checkouts for May and June have increased to 12. So you get 12 checkouts on Hoopla for the month of May and the month of June, which is awesome. So that can be one of them. Okay, let me go on to our next one. This is the most recent one that I read. This is called The Not So Secret Society. And this is by a married couple, actually. Their names are Arlene and, oh, what is the other guy's name? Arlene and Matt. Arlene and Matthew Daly are actually educators. So they are educators who got together to write this book, which actually lines up with some of the core curriculum standards. And what I think is really interesting and totally fascinating is that they include some lesson planning at the back. So they include some objectives, some outcomes, materials needed. They also have a parent reading guide, an adventure hunt activity. It's awesome. Okay, so that's just some extra stuff they include. But the meat of the book is about these 5 characters, and they're kind of misfits. They're not your traditional misfits in that they like get everything wrong, but they're almost like B+ students. There's always a group of kids that's like just ahead of them, and they're like, oh, darn it. And they are so smart, so they make inventions. But one of the things they love to do is they love to go on adventures. Now, this adventure is called Tale of the Gummy, and it is about a gummy bear. So their invention is that they turn a just regular old little candy gummy bear into an alive gummy bear. And they realize that he loves, what are gummy bears made out of? Gummies. But what's gummies made out of? Sugar. He loves sugar. But what sugar does is it makes him, bloop, 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 like that Mario reference again, level up to a bigger size. And he gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And oh no, pretty soon they have a really unwieldy sort of adventure on their hands. So this book is really fun. There's a lot of science in this book. I like that it asks a lot of questions. Again, we have that curriculum tie-in at the end, but it doesn't feel like, I was shocked at the lesson plans at the back because it didn't feel like a school book. It just felt like a fun adventure comic book. So this is called The Not So Secret Society. This is by Arlene and Matthew Daly. And this is right now available on Hoopla. And School Library Journal lists this for grades 3 through 5. So right up at the end of elementary school there. Okay. So right now I'm going to kind of give you a threefer. So these are 3 books, but they are by one author. And first up is going to be Apocalypse Taco. This is by Nathan Hale. And so this author might be familiar to a lot of you. But I really, in particularly, like these kind of single story adventure tales that he's been telling. This one is another one that I read kind of most recently. And this one is it kind of takes place on the night of a dress rehearsal. So these kids are getting ready to put on a play. It's kind of an important night. The school theater troupe is working late. And so very hungry 11-year-old twins, let me see what their names are. Oh, that's right, Axel and Ivan. How could I forget that? Along with their 16-year-old driver, Sid, volunteer to go pick up tacos. Oh, what's today? Tuesday? Like Taco Tuesday. This is a perfect book to read then. They go to this late night, like drive-through tacos, but something weird is happening there. So they're in the drive-through and they start to eat and get their tacos, and the tacos start to move. And then something happens where they've accidentally opened up a portal to, I don't know, another world. That's right. So in this world that they're in now, there seem to be cars and buildings swallowing up things. Things are kind of walking really strange. Let me show you. Oh, there's their car. Uh-oh. So yeah, it is a true adventure. If you like Stranger Things, this is a fantastic book to read. I don't want to give too much away because it's just such a strange world. You kind of have to experience it for yourself. But this is Apocalypse Taco, and this is for grades 3 through 7, and it is available right now on Hoopla. So there you go. Okay, our second book by Nathan Hale is actually, I feel like, pretty similar, although where that book, Apocalypse Taco, takes place in our world, our world, there's kind of a weird world that happens, but right now, like, let's say this year or, right around this time, this book takes place in the future. This is called One Trick Pony, and we've got, what do you think that is? Yeah, the One Trick Pony. That's right. And so again, this takes place in the future. And instead of we saw those like tentacles there, we get really great big giant robotic bugs, alien blob bugs. So this takes place kind of in the middle of an invasion that's already been happening with these creatures. And so ever since this invasion started, humans have been on the run from these giant alien blobs that kind of suck up electrical devices and human limbs sometimes. So Strata, our main lady here on the One Trick Pony, is our main character. And she and her family are part of a caravan for digital rescuers. So they are trying to collect these digital items and save them from total annihilation off the face of the earth from these alien blobs. They are hoping to keep the memory of civilization alive, but other humans have reverted to a pre-electrical age. So let's say, like, I don't even know, 19th century, earlier than that, 18th century age. And or they've taken advantage of the invasion and they've become bandits and kind of like bad guys. So Strata and her brother are separated from their family, and they have to rely on a beautiful and rare robot pony to escape the outlaws and aliens, and maybe even push back against the alien invaders and be reunited once again with their family. So the thing I like about Nathan Hale is that his colors are always in just a very minimal palette. So this one we see, oh my gosh, that might be a spoiler. I don't give that out of the way. We see a very kind of like greenish yellow and gray. In Apocalypse Taco, it's kind of an orangey and gray. And then finally, I want to mention with Nathan Hale, and this is where you may have heard of him. Oh, really quickly, One Trick Pony is School Library Journal says grades 3 to 6. I think it's the same as Apocalypse Taco. Same, grades 3 to 7. Even above. When I was in 8th grade, I totally would have loved those books. And then that is also on Hoopla as well. But I also wanted to mention his super duper famous series, Nathan Hale's Hazardous Tales. And the copy that I have is called Big Bad Ironclad. And this was a Battle of the Books book that we had years ago. But I did check on our digital resources. I didn't find this title, but I did find The Underground Abductor, which is about Harriet Tubman. And what was the other one? Treaties, Trenches, and Mudblood. Ugh. And that's about World War I. Those are both on there. So as you can tell by the subject matter, this one's about the Civil War, and by our call number here, this is nonfiction. So Nathan Hale happens to share his name with a very famous American spy. And if you've ever read Nathan Hale's Hazardous Tales, you know that how this book is formatted is that Nathan Hale is about to be executed for treason by these guys right here. But suddenly he is hit with a supernatural trait of being able to see backwards and forwards in time. So he is able to tell things that happen. This would have been in his future since he lived in the 1700s. And this happened in the 1800s. And he kind of stalls them and he tells them these really great American tales. And as you can see by this book, this is more of that palette. This is a blue and gray. And it's just very cool how Nathan Hale sort of styles his books there. But like I said, this title right now I didn't see on our digital resources. However, there are 2 other titles available on Overdrive and Libby. So check those out. Okay, we've got 2 more books left. Ready? Okay. Next up is Lumberjanes. Lumberjanes, this one is the first volume. This is called Beware the Kitten Holy. And so this is also available in just comic format. So when I say this is volume 1, this is what would be comic issues 1 through 4. So they, those single issue sort of comics, they've released those as well, but this is the the graphic novel version. Okay, so Lumberjanes is by Noelle Stevenson and Grace Ellis, who are amazing and funny and wonderful and talented. And this is about a group of young ladies who are called can you guess? Lumberjanes. And they are at, it's like a summer camp, but it's more of if you've belonged to any scout troop, like Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Cub Scouts, all of that kind of stuff, because they earn badges and they have tasks that they have to do. And so the thing I love about Lumberjanes is that all of the characters are so different. So the chances of you reading a character that you feel like you can relate to is pretty big. So a lot of them are adventurous and funny, but some of them are quiet and studious, but they all work really, really well together. Sometimes they gotta work at working well together, but that's just like real life. Lumberjanes, so it's not just your average kind of camp. There are some supernatural things that happen. So they go adventuring, and there is a lot of mystery in here, a lot of really fun times, some romance, some puzzling they have to do. How are they going to get across there? So this is this is a series, so this continues on. There's also a chapter book version of the Lumberjanes. So if you like the ladies of the Lumberjanes, you are definitely going to have your fair share of materials to read. So this one is available on Hoopla, and School Library Journal rates this for grades 4 through up. Grades 4 and up. Yeah, so this is one of my favorites, Lumberjanes. Okay, last one. And I think that I know a lot of kids would come into the library and look exactly for this series. So if you've been meaning to read this series, now is the time. It is the Babysitters Club. Okay, this is our first one. So this is the first book, and they retell the original books that Anne M. Martin, see her name right here, wrote back when I was a kiddo. I know exactly in the North Carroll Library where the Babysitters Club books would be, and I would just go there, make a beeline every time I would go into the library and pick one up. So it's really cool that they've made graphic novel versions, and they've made graphic novel versions with creators who I love who make other books. So this one in particular is by Raina Telgemeier. Raina Telgemeier has also written and drawn Smile and Sisters. I think, what's the latest one? Oh, Guts. I just read Guts. It was wonderful. She is really fun. Her characters are so expressive and colorful. She has a really great sense of humor. So for grown-ups, if you remember reading Babysitters Club when you were a kid, I would also suggest that you read these. I mean, if you remember Claudia, if you were as obsessed with Claudia and her fashion as I was, then this does not disappoint. So this is the first one. This is called Christy's Great Idea. There are a lot of them that are available online right now, which is wonderful. And again, they're not all by Raina Telgemeier. Some of them are by other great comic and graphic novel creators, but this is the first one that is Christy's Great Idea, based on the first book in the Babysitters Club series. So this one is available on Overdrive and Libby, and this is recommended for grades 4 and up as well. So I think we have something kind of for everyone. We've got adventure, we've got stories about friendship, we've got some apocalyptic stuff, we've got some futuristic stuff, we got some real stuff, some old favorites, mysteries, lots of great graphic novels to choose from. So if you ever have any questions about how to access those digital materials, please let us know via Facebook. You can send us a chat or write us a comment. Or if you have recommendations for us, that's something I miss about working at the desk, is that I would get recommendations from you guys, you and your kiddos. So feel free to let us know. Thank you guys so much for supporting your library and meeting us in this format. We miss you so much, and we will see you next time. Bye.